Hey guys, this is Oracle Daphne. I am back again for your January 2015 Tarot Monthly Horoscope. This is, I am Beth, by the way. That's my name. People call me Daphne, but Oracle Daphne is just the name of the business. And I do private readings, just so you guys know. If you want to do a private reading, my email is elizabetholson31@gmail.com, and I do check my email every day, and I'd love to get you scheduled for a private reading. Anyway, so this is for everyone with their sun, moon, or ascendant in Gemini, and let's see what I get for you guys, because as you can see, I've moved into my official residence, and it's awesome here. I love it. So far, it's really, really cool. So, I have a desk. I'm actually sitting at a desk. It's really awesome. Okay. You guys kind of have like a mixed bag. And to start off with, I feel like you've got this interesting, I call this the sword and the stone card, okay? Because if you look at it, it almost looks like the sword is in the stone, right? And in the upright position, it's a yes, okay? Because things, you've made a decision and things are moving along, okay? In the reverse position, it's a no, okay? That's the answer is a no. It's a no card. In the reverse, it's a no. The reason it's a reverse is because it means that the sword is stuck, okay? That means either you haven't found somebody who's worthy enough to use it, okay? Or it's not yet time for the conclusion, okay? It says the sword of the stone is stuck because they're not ready to yield it yet. Not yet time. Unworthy people who don't deserve you, okay? That's what you're kind of dealing with right now. You may be surrounded by people or someone who doesn't deserve you. That's the bottom line. They're just not up to your caliber, okay? And so it's important to take a look at the people that are in your life. Is everybody in your life, at that caliber, basically? Do they deserve you? I feel like for some Gemini women, you're dealing with a man who really is undeserving. You're wasting your time, basically. Is it possible for him to become deserving? That's the question. That whole concept is a real snooze because, you could be waiting on a guy forever and it not turn out. So, I'm not glass half empty here. I'm just cautious, okay? Cautious before I give you my stamp of approval saying, this is something that can change. Can people change? Yes. Is he going to become deserving? Maybe. It's sort of like there are some guys that never step up to the plate, that never actually try to make things better. This may be someone that you're dealing with. If it is, by chance, someone who is willing to make things better, and maybe they're still young, they're not an old dog. I'm so mean. Then, ladies, there's a chance, okay? What's crossing you is you've kind of checked out emotionally from the relationship. Okay, this is the Four of Cups. You're lost in your own world. You're lost in your bubble, your cocoon, you need to kind of snap out of it and check back in. Geminis, I always say, Gemini ascendants especially, they're way, way, way the fuck out there, okay? They are so far out that one of those loudspeakers from Extreme Home Makeover and whatever his name is, Ty, Ty Pendleton or whatever his name is, couldn't get through to the Gemini who's so far out. Okay, so you kind of need to like pay attention, Gemini. I feel like you're kind of checked out. You may be checked out of a relationship that's no longer working or no longer serving you. You're not using your tongue, which is the sword, to enough to sort of set your boundaries. Because I feel like because this person is in your life, you're just not. I feel like you're not speaking your piece, and it's important that you do so. When it's in reverse, it just makes me think you're not speaking up for yourself, which is quite common with Geminis in general. The foundation here for you guys is the Joy card, which is an amazing card to have in the foundation. I love it. It's all good things are possible, leaping for joy, good family times, good news. This is in the distant past, okay? Some people are like, well, that's not how I'm feeling now, you know? So the thing is this is distant past and the foundation. And for me, a foundation, you need to have a good foundation in order to feel at peace with yourself. And peace with the world and with others. You need to know that there are people that love you. There are people that you have friends, you know, that you have family there for you. You need to have some sort of foundation. Even if it's just one person that loves you, you need to have that. People need to have that. You need to kind of have a good job, you know, food on the table, gas in your car, things like that. Just the basics. That's foundation. So when I see a positive card like this, that means that you have a foundation, a good foundation. You may not be feeling joyful because in the past, this was in the past position that you're joyful, but yeah, in the distant past, it was good times. You did have some good times in the past. In the recent past, you got the Six of Pentacles, which is all about, I feel like this is the resentment card. You know, I think of it really as the resentment card. Two people who are in a relationship where one, you know, there's issues with give and take. Someone's doing all the giving, someone's doing all the taking, and there's not enough kind of balance between the two. And there's resentment that grows between them because somebody is not really pulling their weight. And Gemini, a lot of times, will pull the weight for two, you know? They'll be the person to try, and the other person won't do anything. Now, what is crowning you is this moving card. And the moving card is all about dreaming big, planning to take a trip, planning on moving, wanting to move. Generally, it is a move. It is, like, I see this, and moving is going to be happening, or you're thinking really seriously about moving. Can also be, in some cases, choosing a life direction or choosing a new direction for yourself, but most of the time, it just symbolizes that you're going to be moving. For those of you who don't want to move, I understand. But, you know, I feel like in the upright position, this is good. This is something that you do want. So maybe this is not a surprise to you that you're going to be doing this or that it's on the in the cards. And then what's right around the corner is this Fool card, which is a girl that is taking, I'll show you up close, about to take a leap off this ledge. And all these birds up here are, you know, ready to catch her. And it says, go for it, for better or for worse. You must take a leap of faith and God will save you. So the universe likes it when we take leaps of faith and we trust and we believe that we're going to be okay and that it'll all be okay in the end. And it usually is. But it's hard to get to that point of being ready. You know, when I was younger, and even still now, I still do it now, I used to really like cliff jumping. You know, I never really had that much of an issue with it because I always saw other people go first. and I always knew that it was deep enough. And I used to love doing that. And, I would still probably do that. There's something about cliff jumping that's awesome. That, for like a few seconds, you don't think you're going to hit the water, and then you do, and it's like, oh, you know, it's a huge relief, you know. If for a few seconds you're flying, you know. For a few seconds it's like a free fall, you know. There's a thrill to it. That's what this is. This is cliff jumping, and I'm not saying to do that, okay? There is, you know, safe cliff jumping where you jump into water that's deep enough. You know, I'm not saying doing anything reckless, guys. No, no, no. I'm just saying this is taking a risk. For you, I feel like you're going to be moving. I feel like you were in a relationship where they didn't deserve you, and now you've moved out of that relationship, and you may actually physically be moving. And this requires you to take a leap of faith and know that things are going to work out. The trouble comes with the outcome, and the trouble comes with what's coming in from the universe, which is a messy divorce, a terrible legal battle, to be really upset, hot and cold, to need time to recover after a fight and to calm down. So this is temperance in reverse. So this girl's lost her temper, okay? It could be a guy too, you know, girl or guy, you've lost your temper, Gemini, and it's not the best feeling, you know. This is a messy breakup too, for those of you who are going through a breakup. For those of you who aren't in a relationship, I feel like there is I feel like there's some depression here. I also feel like there's this, you know, needing to wait on something. There's some timing issue where you want something and you haven't gotten it yet, and it's a timing thing. It's a maybe. It's not yet. Those of you who are single, I feel like you are going to be moving. I feel like in the past you were dealing with financial issues or a new business or something where you're pouring a lot of money into something. For the rest of you, it's more relationship oriented. And you know, it's interesting because that's what's coming in. Really screwed up emotions, feeling like really volatile, just like not really being able to balance the extremes. Extreme anger, extreme sadness. You know, Gemini's too. So it's like you are flipping back and forth between your two sides. That's what this kind of stress has caused you. And in the emotional position, you've got carrying too many burdens. So on top of that craziness, you're shouldering like all this stuff and all these responsibilities, you know, taking care of the house, taking care of the bills, taking care of the pets, taking care of everything. And it's just a lot. It's weighing heavily on you. You know, this to me is heavy. This is severe. This is intense. You know, the two in combination next to each other, it's not really the best place to be. And then what you want is you want to kind of go party. You want to have fun. You want to go back out with friends. You want to have, you know, enjoy your life. You want to do things that are fun. And this is hanging out with girlfriends. This is, you know, this could be guy friends too. I mean, I see it as girlfriends, but, you know, this could be guys. And this is just social, being social. You know, Geminis love to party. They love to be social. This is what you kind of want. You want celebration, social happiness, fun, bliss, needing to have more social time. But the problem is the outcome. The outcome is the devil. And I don't like the devil, okay? Because the devil is being a slave to money. The devil is being chained in, you know, to person, you know, ball and chained, okay, to a person who isn't good for you, you know, who is taking control, who has your heart in their hands, and it's like there's just a lot of manipulation there. There's a lot of stress and strife, struggle, and you feel sort of like helpless, like you're stuck, you know, and you don't know how to get out of it. And the thing is, I feel like what's coming in is even though, you know, some of you are getting a divorce or some of you are going through a really messy divorce, you're still stuck to this character, okay? And this character is your boyfriend or girlfriend or, husband, and that's what's happening. You are inside this little cell, Now, some of you may be the devil. And I happen to have a friend who used to get that card a lot. And that is the card that I think of as someone who is a slave to their own passions and inner demons, a devil, hence the devil, someone who has sex addictions and who is very much tempted, okay, by worldly things, okay, the 7 deadly sins, okay, let's just say. Gemini, I feel like you're a slave to your passions. That's what you're a slave to. You may have also been a slave to somebody else, where you were not like an actual slave, but like actually just like emotionally enslaved in a relationship. Or you may have been just kind of trapped in a relationship and you haven't been able to get out of it. For whatever reason, you felt helpless to get out of it. The main thing is that this is a very mixed place to be, to have these intense emotions, feeling very overloaded by burdens, wanting to get an escape and break out of this either relationship you're in or your relationship to money or your own sexual passions and desires, and at the same time wanting, just wanting to have fun, just wanting to go out, just wanting to not have anything to do with any of this other stuff. So it's just like, you're going back and forth. I don't like to leave off on this note. I mean, this is January 2015, so I'd like to see something better for you. Let me pull a card and see. Doesn't seem like this is really going to be a great place to leave off on either. This is the Liar, Cheater, Thief card. So you are dealing with being in a situation, you may be in a relationship to the devil, and the devil may also be, or you may also be dealing with a liar, cheater, or a thief, someone who's lied to you, someone who's cheated on you, someone who's stolen from you, someone who's doing something behind your back and you don't know what they're doing, and someone who's wearing a mask. You may be wearing a mask as well. It may not be. If you have nobody in your life that matches that description, it may just be like you're not showing the world who you really are. You wear a mask every day. You cover up who you really, really are. And so that in itself is problematic. This is trouble. This is not a good place. I feel like in the beginning of the month, it's better. Although there's this frustrating thing about things that need to happen. Like sometimes we want things to happen now and it doesn't happen now because it's not yet time for it to happen. And so you can't, there's that story about the farmer who went outside and was tugging on its plants, to get on the roots to see if to make it grow. You can't force something to happen that is not yet time for it to happen. You can't force it. It needs just to naturally happen. So there's an element of needing to have that, to relax a little bit and just kind of go with the flow and just do things in a sort of time. Do not rush things. Do not, forget things. Stay on it, but don't push it. That's what the message here is. And also be on your guard. I don't like having the devil and the liar, cheater, thief card in the same reading. It troubles me greatly because that means you're dealing with two very negative elements, or two very negative people, or one person who embodies both, and that's not good. No. You like my eyes like that? I pulled another card, and this is better. This is better, okay? In the end, you're going to come out all right. Just know that you will make it. This is a person who through much Much blood, sweat, and tears makes it to the top, not the top of the mountain, to this rock at this ledge that has climbed up. And you've been climbing for some time. Career-wise, things are looking up for you, Gemini. It's very, very good. Relationship-wise, I would say pay attention to those around you. If you have any red flags, any alarms, bells going off in your head, really take heed to that. And I would suggest doing a private reading with me so that I can look into it farther. But I feel like ultimately the place that you're in is kind of a sticky situation, you know? It's one of those weird, you know, double whammy type things. So I would say take a deep breath, put your helmet on. Who said, I think it was in Grey's Anatomy where she was like, get a helmet, you know? And that's what I would suggest for January, Gemini. You need to get a helmet, okay? So that you can endure this ride, because I feel like the devil is, it's a challenging, whether you're enslaved to your passions or whether you're dealing with somebody else, and then whether you're dealing with a liar, cheater, or thief. Not a good combination. Not good. But be safe this holiday. Have a wonderful new year if you're watching this on New Year's Eve. And I wish you all the best. And there's this little excerpt that I want to read for you, actually. It's been kind of on my mind. I wrote it down here. Oh, I know. I think I put it on my computer, too. Just bear with me. There's this, I wrote this poem about the devil, and this is kind of just what you guys are going through. So maybe this will kind of help you a bit. Okay, this is called The Poker Game with the Devil, okay? And it was inspired by, okay, so this is the poem that I wrote. It's kind of a poem, it's a poem prose, and it's inspired by the song Move Along by the All American Rejects. And I wrote it this past August. So it says, I sit at a table with the devil at a bar in no man's land, my poker face on. The devil says, are you all in? And are you going to play that hand? You'll be nothing, and I hope you won't make it, is barely audible. The devil plays with his chips and rolls his eyes. He does not hesitate. He looks me in the eyes and grins. You will lose, he says. Something in my soul and heart collide, and I feel doubt. He gets up. He gets behind me and whispers in my ear, just give up. I think aloud, I've had it. I'm done with deception. I know it's a scam. Shaken, I push past him and say, you are not that strong. He grabs my arm. I wouldn't do that if I were you. I see that my heart is in his hand, ready to be crushed. He forgets easily. I've got the sword of truth, and I draw it ready for his head. You really want to do this, he says? I'm not going to guess anymore. It's all a lie, I realize, and I turn the table on its end. I look back as I leave the room, and he's already moved on. He is having sex on the floor with some girl, and I think, what a loser, as I get in my car and take to the road. At the end, that's my poem. And it's all about the devil and the sword and using your sword of truth and breaking out of a situation which you feel like somebody has control over you. and leaving a situation, whether it's changing your phone number, email, Facebook, whatever you've got to do to get out of that. Now, if you have inner passions, inner desires that you're trying to break free from, then it's a little bit more challenging because you're waging a war with yourself. I feel like waging a war with yourself is actually harder than waging a war with somebody else or with the devil. But ultimately, these are the things that the devil tries to put in your head, that you'll lose, that no one will ever love you, or that you're never going to make it. That's crap, okay, that the devil says, okay? And the devil is just an influence, it's an influence of a bad person. It's not, I don't believe that the devil actually exists as one entity, okay? I do believe there's negative entities out there, plural, okay? But I don't believe there's one. And I think people kind of get the idea that it's one, but in this case, the devil embodies, negativity and all that negative crap that gets into your head. And because Geminis are an air sign, it is very important to remember that it's not true. None of it is true. Whatever you've been told that has that crap in it, it's not true. So you need to remember to stay positive, and you remember to use your sort of truth, speak your truth, even if you think you're not ready, okay? Even if you don't think you should do it. It's time to speak up. It's not yet time to, let somebody in who is not worthy of your heart. They may be the embodiment of the devil, and they may be, really out to just sleep with you, and you have to watch out for that. You don't want to give your heart over to somebody who is not deserving. In the end, you just don't. So, anyways, have a wonderful New Year's. I'm going to send you big hugs, big kisses, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Thank you so much for watching and all your comments and everything. Take care.